There's some fun to be had with almost all the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, but that first one, The Curse of the Black Pearl, is really on another level entirely. I was hoping the new fifth installment would move the franchise back in that direction, but that isn't really what happens. Pirates of the Caribbean Dead Men Tell No Tales takes place a number of years after On Stranger Tides, and it sees a super drunken bum, Jack Sparrow, walking around with the Black Pearl in its bottle in his pocket. As always, Jack eventually does something kind of stupid, and that something kind of stupid leads to Captain Salazar and his men escaping from a place called the Devil's Triangle and setting out to find and kill Jack. Jack's only hope, the Trident of Poseidon, and that's where Karina and Henry come in. Jack needs them to find this trident, so they all team up to track it down. If that sounds a little complicated, it's because it is. The best part of Dead Men Tell No Tales certainly does not come from the expanding mythology. You are able to follow the details of the triangle, the trident, how Salazar escapes, what he wants, and what can be done to stop him. But you can also poke holes in those details. And the same goes for tracking the familiar characters from film to film. One of the great qualities of Jack Sparrow has always been that he messes up, but eventually he comes through and he contributes to saving the day. Here, not so much really. He does mess up a lot, but most of the time, it's the other characters that push the narrative forward, not him. So while Johnny Depp does do what he needs to do in the role to keep the Pirates franchise going, he doesn't really get to add anything to Jack Sparrow. It feels more like he's just coloring in the lines. And then, of course, we've got Barbossa. He is a great character, and it's in large part due to what Geoffrey Rush brings to the role, but he takes a pretty sharp turn in Dead Men Tell No Tales. It's a great thing to add layers to a character, but in this case, it isn't really in line with what we've learned about Barbossa in previous films. Rush does make it work well enough that this winds up becoming one of the more moving elements of the film overall, but it's still unfortunate that it doesn't really connect all that well with the past films. And then, of course, we've got our new heroes. It's Scodelario as Karina and Brenton Thwaites as Henry. They are both great, super charismatic, and very well cast. Thwaites has had a number of roles in major productions like The Giver, Maleficent, Gods of Egypt, just to name a few, but they often wind up being disappointing movies overall or half-baked roles for him, so he hasn't really had the opportunity to break out like I think he could and should. This Pirates movie, it probably won't be any different for him, but it's worth highlighting that he really does make the most of the role he got. Scodelario, however, gets to take it a step further, though, because she gets more to work with. Karina is an interesting and exciting character all on her own, but the way she is woven into the rest of the narrative also makes her feel especially important to the mission, and also to the franchise overall. And lastly, we have got Javier Bardem, who looks like he's having an absolute blast playing Salazar, and it's a lot of fun. He's sinister, has a big personality, and he was just the perfect choice for a Pirates villain. So while the details of the story and the links to past films don't quite work, the cast is really rock solid, and Dead Men Tell No Tales does have enough extremely riveting action sequences to make it a fun, entertaining watch. The sets are incredible, with the practical elements really making all the difference, and when it comes to those digital effects, Salazar and his crew look pretty great. There might be a small handful of moments where members of his group look a little cartoonish, but it's nothing that'll really pull you out of the movie. So what it comes down to is that Pirates of the Caribbean Dead Men Tell No Tales is just a fun ride. It's getting a 3 out of 5 on the Dewey Decimal movie scale, largely for its entertainment value. The story isn't deep, it borderline ruins some franchise mythology, and has one of the worst cameos I've ever seen. But the movie also has no problem sweeping you up in the action. It has an ensemble full of fun and likable characters, and that iconic theme always adds so much energy. I can't say it left me itching for a sixth film, but Dead Men Tell No Tales is fun enough that if you enjoy the Pirates movie, it could be worth a watch.